almost February 1st of 2026. We are already in the new year. It's January 28th. 3 more days left. Already about to be in February. Also, I want to make sure my mic is good. I don't want to have any audio problems. Guys, if you guys are upcoming creators, and I know I've explained this on a previous live, but this is very vital. Your visuals can be decent, but if the audio quality is bad, how are people going to be able to hear what you're saying? And how are people going to be able to understand the video? Oh, okay, so the audio is good. All right, I think I'm gonna start connecting to this mic. I'm not gonna lie to you. Is everything like crystal clear? Like, is there any lag, or I just want to make sure there's no lag. Like everything's good. All right, well, if everything's good, let's go ahead and get started. No, I'm good? All right, thank you. All right, perfect. All right, well, I'll start using this mic from now on then, so that I don't have to like worry about anything. All right, so we have 3 topics. Well, I'm gonna read my Bible. Then we have why you should be the foundation. This is very important. Make a community post. You're right, bro. I don't know like how. Like I looked it up on YouTube of how to do a community post, and for some reason, I can't like find how to specifically do it. But I need to. You're right. I do need to find it. Also, I saw someone with less subs because I know you need 500. They said you need 500. I saw someone with like 20, 30 subs make a post. I'm like, how did this account even? Is it this guy? You're not trying hard enough? I am trying. All right. But let's go ahead and read the Bible. And yes, we'll see if I can, do it. All right. Let's see. Well, we passed Genesis chapter 29. Oh, yeah, we're on Genesis chapter 30. We're going to read from the page top to bottom. And then, yeah. All right, Genesis chapter 30. It says, when Rachel saw that she was not bearing Jacob any children, she became jealous of her sister. So she said to Jacob, give me children or she'll die. That's a crazy statement. Jacob became angry with her and said, am I in the place of God who has kept you from having children? Then he said, here is Bilhah, my servant. Sleep with her so that she can bear children for me, and I too can build a family through her. So she gave him her servant Bilhah as a wife. Jacob slept with her, and she became pregnant and bore him a son. Guys, actually, it's pretty cool how they use different language. So how we say born, but they said bore back in the Bible. It's pretty interesting, pretty fascinating how different languages can be used and how times have basically changed from all the way back in history to now. It's pretty cool. They did the same thing Abraham and Sarah did. Correct. Abraham and Sarah did. They did exactly and precisely the same thing. You're right. It says, then Rachel said, God has vindicated him. He has listened to his plea and given him a son. Because of this, she named him Dan. Rachel's servant Bilhah conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. Then Rachel said, she has had a great struggle with her sister and she has won. So she named him Naphtali. But the Bible has so many, the Bible has so many different names. Like it's honestly insane. So many different names. It says, when Leah saw that she had stopped having children, she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Leah's servant Zilpah bore Jacob a son. Then Leah said, what good fortune. So she named him Gad. Well, you said, hey, that's mean. He said, to the person who cut your hair. I mean, EK, I mean, people like Jeff Budd, one, he can't even see my haircut, which is, I don't even know why he's even talking. But he's saying sue the person who's cut my hair. He can't even like see the haircut, number one. Number two, he has no profile picture. Number three, who cares what Jeff Budd has to say? Who cares what he has to say? Let him talk. Do not stop him from talking. Anyway, it says, during wheat harvest, Reuben went out into the fields and found some mandrake plants, which he brought to his mother Leah. Rachel said to Leah, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. You look great. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, man. I mean, it's just haters. It's literally just haters. Like, I'm not tripping about him, bro. Like, he doesn't have a profile picture. Like, it's so, bro, why is it always the people with no profile picture having the most to say? Like, I saw a video of Shaq. I don't know if you guys seen him, but he hangs around with like Jay Sean and Kai Cenat and Rakai and them. And he made a video saying, the people who are talking about Kai Cenat's mental health aren't at the top. And it's very true. It is always the people at the bottom with the most to say. Like, bro, what bothers people is that how are you talking? How? You have plenty of time throughout the day to execute, to better yourself, to actually become the man or woman that you want to be. However, instead of trying to become the man that or woman that you want to be, you decide to sit there and say, oh, well, this person's doing this or he's doing this. This is why Shaq also made a video that says, you should not care about being liked. Guys, let me actually make this clear. It doesn't matter if you do basketball, soccer, football, you want to become the best piano player. People will always have an opinion. So the question is, if people are always going to have an opinion, then you have to answer this question for yourself. Do you want to complete your goals or do you not? Because people are going to talk regardless. This is the thing. People who don't chase their dreams think that they're safe. You're not safe from getting talked about. Now, you may not get talked about to the level that Kai Cenat's getting talked about, but you will still get talked about. So if you will still get talked about, then why not do what you truly want to do? Because people are going to talk regardless. This is how the world works. People will talk regardless. So do what you genuinely want to do and be happy about it and execute and do not care what people have to say. Prove them wrong. That's all you have to do. She traded food for a night with their husband. LOL. Oh my. Period. Facts, man. I mean, it's honestly true, and it's crazy because if you want to build something and you don't want people talking, well, you might as well not even build anything because people are going to talk. That is a guarantee. The question is, look, this is the question. People are going to talk. The question is, you get to decide what they talk about. So if you're playing basketball and you're a good basketball player, people are going to talk about you playing basketball. At least you chose the subject they're talking about. So that's the thing you get to choose, and that's the positive. But let's go and get back to the Bible. It says, where was I? Oh, yeah, it says, but she said to her, wasn't it enough that you took away her husband? Will you take her son's mandrakes too? Very well, Rachel said. He can sleep with you tonight in return for your son's mandrakes. So when Jacob came in from the fields that evening, Leah went out to meet him. You must sleep with her, she said. I have hired you with my son's mandrakes. What is a mandrake? I never heard of a mandrake. Can someone look up what is a mandrake and tell me what that is? What is a mandrake? What is that? It says, so he slept with her that night. God listened to Leah and she became pregnant and bore Jacob a fifth son. Bro, they was having armies of sons and daughters. You think if people have a lot of kids now, they was having kids way back in the Bible times. They're building a whole army. It says, God has rewarded her for giving his servant to her husband. So she named him Issachar. Leah conceived again and bore Jacob a sixth son. Gosh, dang. Fruit, I think that's a fruit. A mandrake? You want to know what's crazy? I was low-key thinking like that too. I was like, wait, is this like some fruit or something? Like, I was low-key thinking that, but I don't know what a mandrake is. But anyway, it says, then Leah said, God has presented me with a precious gift. This time my husband will treat me with honor because she has borne him 6 sons. So she named him Zebulun. It says, sometime later, she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Bro, they was having all type of kids. Gosh, dang. They was having a lot of kids. It says, then God remembered Rachel. He listened to her and enabled her to conceive. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son and said, God has taken away her disgrace. She named him Joseph and said, may the Lord add to her another son. Wow, guys. And we're going to stop right there. So we'll still be on chapter 30, but we'll be on verse 25. Guys, I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised myself I even made it this far. Joseph, yup, that's exactly, yup. This is where it really gets interesting. Now we actually get to hear the story of Joseph. That fast, bro. I was literally just at the beginning of the story when God first made the heavens and the night, the day. Like, it's crazy. Now we're already at Joseph. Bro, after, I think there's about 20 more chapters that I have to read in Genesis, and then I'll be on Exodus. That fast. Like, goodness, I'm not going to lie. It's going to take me about like a whole year or two to finish, but it will be a journey. Since all the kids was God's will, so that Israel would grow into a nation. Yeah, I mean, God definitely has a plan for all of those kids to be born. I mean, when you hear about it, all the dynasties, even from Adam and Eve's time to Abraham, to Isaac, to Esau and Jacob, they all had kids, but God had a single purpose for everyone, to be honest. The question is, are you willing to accept that purpose and then execute that purpose? Because it is hard. If we take someone, and we could talk about this book, right? Even though I'm not in Exodus, I've seen the movie. Oh, what a coincidence. I was just about to talk about Ramesses and Moses. So it says, then they go to Egypt and made slaves. Correct. And this can kind of go into my point of Moses and Pharaoh. So when God had told Moses that you're going to have to basically betray your brother to do the Lord's will, that is hard. I'm not even going to sit up here and act like that's easy. That is hard because he was already in a position of power. He already had proximity to the ruler or the leader, thanks to Pharaoh. However, he had to literally go against that. Now, he could have just played it safe and said, you know what, God, I'm not going to do your will. Pharaoh already has the power. He already has all the money. He controls all the slaves. I'm just going to stay with him. But then Moses would have to then realize long term that, dang, you didn't free your own family. You didn't free your own bloodline, bro. Because his bloodline was going to have to suffer forever. Moses would have been good, but his family would have had to suffer. Actually, he didn't even recognize his family at first. His sister had to keep on reminding him because Moses was confused at first of who she even was. But something reminded him, he was like, But then when he realized that that was his family and that was his sister, he also realized, wait, that means he doesn't come from Pharaoh's lineage. Exactly. He didn't come from that lineage, but he was still going to have the perks of that lineage. So he made the hardest decision possible and it paid off long term. Times are hard back then. Oh, for sure, man. For sure times are hard back then. Goodness gracious. Like, imagine actually like getting beaten and not even being able to barely have food and a shelter. Like, it's honestly like insane. Like, they was working their butts off every single day for scraps. Yet Pharaoh, he ain't even doing much, but he's the ruler of it all. And he doesn't care because he gets it exactly and precisely from his dad. His dad was only focused on the empire and keeping it up and running. And he instilled those same worldviews into Pharaoh, or Ramesses. He installed the same thing. And if Ramesses' son didn't die, he would have instilled those exact same worldviews into his son. But his son died. And that's really when he had thought about it, and he thought Moses killed his son. Moses didn't kill your son. This was the consequence to you being disobedient. You weren't listening. You didn't let the people go. You didn't free them. So God had to show him. But the thing is, you don't see God. So the only person that Pharaoh saw was Moses or Ramesses. So Ramesses was saying, basically, need to get revenge on Moses. And that's when their brotherhood separated. And what I'm saying is, separating your brotherhood, someone that you grew up with, someone that you have a connection with, that is hard. And he chose the hard choice, but long term, and if you guys read it, I'm not sure if you guys know it, but if you read, Jesus had Moses part the sea in half, and they all went, and then Ramesses and his crew of soldiers, they all drowned. All that is crazy. And it proves that when you follow God, short term, it makes no sense. It doesn't even make sense. Like God tells you to do this, you're like, wait, what? Why? But then long term, once you see the result or you get closer to your destination, you go, dang, that's why he told me to do that. Like it makes sense. It never makes sense in the moment. Same thing with life. You know how you will go through something and you won't know the lessons. You won't know that this will better your life. You just think, this is some nonsense. Like you don't know in the moment. However, when you are actually out of the moment and you're able to go back and assess and see the reason as to why this all happened, you go, maybe if it wasn't for those times, you wouldn't have been here where you were. Sometimes you do need the struggle, because without the struggle, you're not going to learn. The best thing you can do in times of chaos is to extract the wisdom from it. There's always lessons. It doesn't matter if you're broke. It doesn't matter if you have money. 9 times out of 10, if you were at the bottom, you don't have any money. So then if you're going through chaos and you're already at the bottom and you have no money, the question is, how do you learn? How can you build even though you have pain? How can you build when you were born into a family that doesn't have wealth, that has a lot of trauma, that hasn't healed from it? Well, then you have to become the opposite. You have to start learning about money. You have to accept what happened in your history's lineage for you to grow. You have to be the one who puts a stop to the trauma. Someone has to do it, or else it'll never stop. Only time you grow is in pain, precisely the point. If it wasn't for the pain, you wouldn't have the lessons, you wouldn't have the wisdom acquired to be able to teach, inspire, or just know the knowledge in general. It's as simple as that. You would not know. Pain and suffering is inevitable. Precisely the point, man. And people might say, oh, well, that's very pessimistic of you to say that, Venom, pain, and but it is. What is more guaranteed? For you to get blessings or for you to struggle? Especially if you have no money. I would argue it's pain and suffering. I would argue that. And like I said, it's not about being pessimistic. Also, if you don't know what pessimistic means, it means you're always thinking like in a negative way, or you're thinking in a negative outcome. 9 times out of 10, if someone's calling someone pessimistic, 9 times out of 10, they probably have a good understanding of how the world actually works. Now, they're not going off guarantees, right? So even Venom, he's not going off guarantee like pain. Well, I guess pain and suffering, yeah, that is guaranteed. But it's more about probability. Which one is more likely to happen? You get your blessing or you have pain? More than likely, if you're at the bottom, it's pain. That's what it is. You've seen it, but all the pain has given you wisdom for sure. Exactly. All the pain gives you wisdom. You just have to be willing to grow from it. But then there's a lot of people who they can go through the same pain you've went through as SD and not have wisdom because they didn't accept it. They didn't learn from it. They decide to get bitter from it. A lot of people get bitter from this trauma. Someone in the bloodline has to change it. They have to. They have to switch it. Because if someone doesn't do it, then no one will. Right? And it's a hard task. It's a hard task, but once you do it, you'll be glad that you did. You will be glad that you did. having God and Jesus save me from it. And SD, and that's actually a great thing. Like, I'm glad, having God and Jesus, saved you from it. And the reason why many people don't want to follow Christ, not because Christ is false, but because Christ will expose where you're at. And he will say you have to grow. And responsibility, it's like you're going to have to be responsible. A lot of people don't want to be responsible. So instead of them saying that they don't want to be responsible, they say, Jesus is fake. Not because he actually is fake, but because if they accepted God, then they would also have to accept that they need to take responsibility of their life. That's the reason. And responsibility is a hard thing to take in at first, but this is life in general. It doesn't matter if you follow God or not. If you're going to be an adult, a young woman or a young man too, you're going to have responsibility. There is no running from responsibility. It's an everyday thing. Most do not want to be exposed. Most do not want to take accountability. God is going to have you do both. Exactly. You have no choice but to do both. You have to do both. Also, I saw a thing on Twitter. I was talking to Venom about it the other day. I was saying Marlon said he was going to go to the mosque. It's basically a thing that Islamic people do. And someone in the comments had said, he's over here backing down from his religion. One, he's not backing down from his religion. Two, if you actually watch the video, Marlon, which is a Twitch streamer or Kick streamer, I'm not sure which one he streams on, but he specifically said he was still going to follow Christianity, but he wants to understand the culture. Same thing with me, right? Soon I'm going to give me a Quran, not because I'm converting from Christianity to Islam, but because in order to understand where their points come from, why they believe in the things that they believe in, wouldn't you have to go to the Quran? That's the thing. Like, Muslims will say, "Oh, you're reading the Quran," but then if I say something that's in the Quran that isn't in the Quran, then the Muslims will be like, "Oh, you're just making stuff up. Go ahead and read the Quran." So like, it makes no sense. It's okay to know our religions. Yeah, it's okay. Also, because about a week or two ago, me and Venom was debating this Muslim, and he decided to pick one verse from the Holy Bible to support his claim. However, my thing is, if you were going to pick that one verse and use it, that is okay. However, how are you going to ignore every other verse? It doesn't make any sense. That is just like me nitpicking and choosing one verse from the Quran that supports, let's say, Jesus is real, and I'm going to ignore all the other chapters and verses. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You studied a lot of religious teachings? Yeah, that's good. That's great. All right. I'm going to make this short, but we have two more topics. We have why you should be the foundation and why you should stick to your lane. So number one, why you should be the foundation. Guys, the reason why you should be the foundation, and what I mean by this is you need to internally be self-happy, self-aware, and self-assured and self-reliant. The reason why is because many people will go against their plans. There's always switch-ups. There's always, they can't pick you up. What I'm saying is, if you are the foundation, if your happiness depends on you as opposed to others, then when others don't come to support you, you will still be good. Let me give you an example. Let's say for Thanksgiving or Christmas, usually your family comes around. Let's say that let's say that before Christmas, you've been working on building yourself. You've been working on your self-reliance, and you've been working on having your happiness come from your inner self and not other people. Like, the other people are bonuses. You are the foundation. Therefore, Christmas comes up and your family says, "Oh, they can't come." Most people, they'll be mad because their happiness depends on these people. And I'm not saying your happiness can't depend on your family and friends, but what I'm saying is you should have inner happiness also, so that if they don't show up, you're still good. You're still at peace with yourself. And you're not mad, spiraling out the whole day, being emotional about why they didn't show up. Because realistically, in the real world, in adulthood, some people just won't show up sometimes. It might be because they deliberately chose to not show up, or it could just be life. Maybe something popped up. The point doesn't matter of why they didn't come. The point is you should be so self-assured in yourself that you don't get thrown off when they do say they can't show up. You are unwavered. You have unwavering confidence. You have unwavering peace with yourself. And then number 2, why you should stick to your lane. This is actually very important, guys. I know many people, they follow trends and stuff, but sometimes the best thing to do is to stick to your lane. For example, if you're a good artist, bro, do that. Stick in your lane. There is some things that some people can do that some people can't. Whatever is the thing that you could do, stick with it. What is something you're naturally good at? Okay, stick in that lane. I know you might see other lanes, they getting all the views, getting all the numbers, but stick to your lane. When you stick to your lane, you'll more succeed because this is your expertise. This is something you know how to do. Yeah, going back to the point on why you should stick to your lane. Yeah, like your lane can be uniquely yours. So depending on what your lane is, stick to it, study your lane, and execute. And the hardest part is to stay in that lane when distractions are near. That's the hardest part. If you can stay, even though distractions are there, then you're good. This is even going back to my point, right? Distractions can be people hating. Bro, there is no way you can exist on the internet, on planet Earth in general, without getting talked about, without getting laughed at. Like, it literally just happens. It just happens. Now, when you're younger, it might hurt a little more because you don't understand. But once you understand that people are going to talk regardless, then you can lose all that fear of judgment. You can just be like you could just decide what you want to do. Because if people will laugh, because I think that some people think that if they try and fit in, that people won't laugh, and that's false. Now, they might not laugh at you as much as the guy who's trying to stand out, but they'll still laugh at you. It might not be in your face. It could be behind your back. Who knows? So, and this is why I was saying at the beginning, you should always do what you genuinely want to do. I mean, you only get one life on earth. You might as well make the best of it. Might as well make the best. Don't listen to what people got to say. There's always going to be haters. The haters will be the same ones who switch up in the future and go, oh, I always knew, man, you ain't know nothing. Shut that nonsense up. He wasn't talking like that before. It'd be your number one haters too, saying, oh, they always knew you was going to do it. Man, shut that nonsense up. Yeah, guys. Also, going back to my first point I was saying of why you should be the foundation. Guys, when we really look at this word foundation, everything good in life is built on some foundation, a stable foundation. To have a marriage, you must have a foundation. To be able to go to work, pay your bills, you must have a foundation. Whether that's a crib, whether that's you having water, you must have a foundation. Everything that requires you to build has a foundation. You must be stable. Stability is the foundation. When you are unstable, you don't have a foundation. Therefore, you can't really build. You must be stable. You must have a foundation. Once you have the foundation of a flat line, then you can start building the bricks until you eventually get to the top of the infrastructure. However, most people try to skip the baseline and they try to go here and here and here and here. So then when they get up here, the foundation hasn't built. So now all of this collapse. All of it. Because they haven't built the infrastructure. They haven't built the foundation first. Yeah, guys, we're going to go ahead and end live right here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I don't know if it's morning time for you guys. It's 8:19 p.m. for me, but hopefully you guys have a good rest of your night. And stay blessed, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.